Okay, folks, so I've been giving a little bit of thought to today's meeting on the organics plant, the compost crisis. Several things have occurred to me. Some of those councillors are incredibly interesting to listen to. Sarah Templeton is one of the more clever environmentalists at that table. What was clear to me is that we cannot be trucking this organic material hundreds and hundreds of kilometres every day. From an environmental point of view, that's ridiculous. Something I've been concerned about for a long time, actually there's a bunch of things. We can't be trucking this waste all over the city either. We cannot collect waste in Russley and take it all the way over to East Christchurch, where we do something with it before we then truck it all the way out to Cape Valley. That's a bit silly. We have to reduce the amount of driving around that these diesel trucks do on our roads, because from an environmental point of view, that's also a disaster. What we do know we have to do is we have to tame the beast that is the organics plant that we have at present. It's already running well over capacity and we have to rein that in. So our next steps, I think, the first thing we've got to do is actually look at the northern suburbs and go back to council and say, look, we understand that we haven't got consents in place to take all of the organic material up to Cape Valley. But what was not discussed today was the possibility of taking some of the organic material up to Cape Valley and some of it to the organic plant. We actually know that this organic plant can be made to behave. It has behaved in the past. It has had times of the year and times of the week that it doesn't stink to high heaven. So that can certainly be done. We also know that if we don't put extra waste into it, if we don't do dumb things like throwing chickens into it, chickens, for heaven's sakes, how did we not think that was going badly? I'm sorry to laugh, but this is just a circus. It's absolutely ridiculous. What we are going to need to do across our city is not just rise up a new organics plant. We're going to actually have to rise up 10 of them. That's right, 10 plants that process the waste from 40,000 Christchurch citizens each. So roughly about 20,000 homes per plant, based on the assumption of having 200,000 rating units, which is, we're at about 175 now. That's where we're heading. They're going to have to be smaller and more efficient, and that is one of the things that one of the speakers was speaking about today, is that is actually quite possible to do. My first thinking is we've got an absolute truckload of land that is vacant in the CBD right now. We have massive sections of it. We need to start looking at acquiring that land and using it. There is a massive Orion plot, for example, just slightly north of Beeley Ave, that could be made good use of. There are other plots around the place. There's a old bus shelter down on Mulhus Ave where increasing numbers of buses are disappearing from, that I think is in council hands. We need to just look on the map and figure this bit out. We also need to put some processing out to the northern side of the city, because there are a truckload of trucks that move from Horswell all through those suburbs that don't need to come all the way over to the east. We need to reduce significantly our oil consumption, our diesel consumption, running these vehicles around. From an environmental point of view, that's absolutely shocking. We also need to start thinking about the people that are working in our plants. We need to give consideration to the fact that not all those people want to live in Bromley. Not all of them want to live in the east. And we can't have people travelling from one side of the city to work in the other side of the city, not when we've got a council that has declared a climate emergency, not when we've got a council that is spending quite so much money constantly telling us that we have to live local and work local. That means we also need to create employment opportunities across the city. Look, we have a network of something like 26 libraries across the city. So if you're a librarian, you've got a great choice of place to work. We have a network of swimming pools if you're a swimming instructor or a lifeguard or just like swimming. You've got a choice of about a half a dozen different pools across the city where you can work. There are stadiums across the city for sports events. It seems that we just seem to want to consolidate these massive waste treatment facilities, and it's silly. They're not working, they're not future-proofed, and they've got to change. So that's what I'm going to start asking the questions around next. I hope you'll get in behind me. I hope you'll join me by liking the posts, sharing the videos, sharing comments, asking questions, and starting to engage with your local elected members, because these plants are coming to a suburb you live in. Have a great night, guys.